everybody. Welcome to the YouTube Live today. I am actually doing this in front of a live studio audience here that are not paying attention to me, apparently. Anyways, guys, we're going to answer the questions off of the Patreon group. Oh, we've got clapping going on in the background. We're actually going to... The studio audience, by the way, is Andrew, if you haven't guessed. We're at the beach house, and yeah, I'm in the living room, dining room area, so a little bit of a different. Hello, guys. Great to see you all. So we're going to be answering some questions off of the Patreon. I like this one. Hello. Awesome, guys. Okay, so we've got a few really good questions here. One of them is about everyone as you pushed out. Another one is about when you're waiting for your manifestation, and a few other questions in between. So we're going to dive right in. Of course, if you guys would like your questions answered, we do actually have the Patreon group where you can come ask your questions. So I'll put it in the link here. Patreon.com/create your future. So yeah, come ask your questions here, and we'll answer them on the. I'll answer them on the YouTube Live. Yeah. So let's take a look here. Let's dive in. So the first one is Juliana's question. So her question. Oh, I also marked the time that I read your question. That way, if you don't want to watch the whole video, you can just skip to it. So. 46 seconds. I answered your question. Okay. So we've got Juliana's question, and Juliana's question is, hello, Amanda. I love your videos. Thank you. And how you explain everything. Oh, thank you so much. I really resonate with your approach and ideas. Oh, thank you. I was wondering about how to keep yourself on track when the manifestation is taking a long time, especially during this pandemic and isolation. I think somehow I created a belief that my specific person will only come back when the lockdown is over. We live in India. For several times, he reached out for me. At first, not entirely in the way I intended him to show up, but we did talk about meeting after everything opens up again. I intend to have constant contact with him, but right now we have this gaps of weeks before our talks. I was doing great with my mental diet, and I was feeling like I had to let go. But now I just don't see the end of this lockdown situation, and it's making me anxious again. I know we're going to be together, but somehow I fear I can create a third-party situation with my insecurities or delay my manifestation by doubting myself. I'm grateful for any insight you can give me. I think I just need to remind myself that my thoughts create and that time and circumstances don't matter. Sorry for the huge text. No worries. And thank you for all that you do. Oh, you're so welcome. So, you know what? You nailed it. I mean, you nailed it right there. Is you're saying that, you know, you've got the belief that he can only come back once the lockdown is over. So you're putting a qualification, like you're putting something that has to happen in order to get your manifestation, when really you want to change that mental thought and your belief to, no, I can have what I want and I can have it now. You know what? Everything is perfect for this to happen now. You know, there's many different ways that a relationship can happen in this time as well, right? So, you know, regardless of the lockdown, you know, you guys can still talk every day. I know, like, for instance, here in Canada, just to pull a little bit of the 3D world into it, we have these things called bubbles, and we're actually doing really, really well. We have less than 100, like not even like in the 20s of cases a day here in BC. So we're doing really well. But what we have is our bubbles where, you know, we're allowed to have, you know, certain family bubbles, you know, and not to be in big groups or, you know, to go and, you know, see multiple different people, but you can kind of see your immediate family type of thing. And that seems to work really well. So, I mean, there's always options. Like, you know, a lot of times now I've seen a lot of, like, you know, TikToks. I watch TikTok and stuff where, you know, they make little jokes and they date, you know, like over the FaceTime and stuff, you know. This one video, this guy was in these big white, like one of those big white bubble things, you know, clear bubble things. That's how we went on their date. So, you know, I mean, whatever the case is, right? You know, intend that regardless it's going to happen, it's going to happen now. And you can say, look, I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. You know, a lot of times, we could take this pandemic and say, okay, it's going to ruin something, or we can say that it's going to make it better, or that, it's going to be, even successful than before. You know what? The relationship is actually going to happen because of the pandemic. That's actually going to bring us closer together and make it happen more because we talk on the phone every day. So start, saying that this is going to make it actually happen now. But yeah, I mean, really, that's what it comes down to is you need to be on top of your thoughts. So what you've created is that, okay, it's not going to happen until the pandemic's over. So now you're basically saying that the pandemic has to be over before the relationship's going to happen. And then he doesn't call you. And then you're worrying he's with another person. So you see where all this is going. We've got to stop that immediately. And we got to get on top of our thoughts. So, but you know that. I know you know that. And I know you can do it. Okay. So you say it's happening now. This pandemic's actually going to make it happen faster and better than it would have been, that sort of thing. Right. Yeah. So we've got 6 minutes in. We have Patricia's question. Let's take a look here. So Patricia says, hi, Amanda. I hope you're doing well and feeling all recovered. I'm doing amazing. And yes, you know what? I'm pretty much all recovered now, which is amazing. Like, thank goodness. I thought it would never happen. It's like, Anyway, I'm sending you love and health. Thank you. I intend to be healthy too. Previously, I had asked you the best way to attract my specific person, who I don't know and is famous. You said it's absolutely possible, and you advised me to change my negative to positives and to script as much detail as possible. But I have been having a bit of difficulty with the script, as it makes me feel like I'm strangling my manifestation with specifics. Since I don't care how it shows up, I just want in here. Can I drop the script and just do intentions? Yeah, absolutely. You can definitely do that. So you can do things as detailed or as non-detailed as possible. You can do things very generally, and then when you do things generally, then you keep on your mental diet, or you can do it very detailed. I think the biggest thing here is to basically start telling yourself that people meet celebrities all the time, and celebrities, you'll run into them, and that there is options and possibilities. I mean, I don't know what your blocks are here as far as the story goes. I mean, do you think it's impossible? Do you think you'll never run into them? Like, you're the creator of your reality. So, I know lots of people that have met celebrities. In fact, the town I used to live in, they used to film movies all the time, and there used to be celebrities everywhere. Actually, I was just over at a corner store yesterday, and I saw that they had a picture of, what was his name? I don't know. Anyways, it was a famous actor. And this is a corner store really in the middle of nowhere. And they had his picture signed, like he's obviously been there. So, and this was just some hole in the wall corner store. You would never think that like this Hollywood actor would be at, right? So, I think it's going to come down to that. But, will it take longer compared to the script? Well, no, only things will take as long as you think they will. Right? I just feel like a specific situation could bring up a ton of resistance that I don't need. Well, exactly. If you feel like it's going to bring up resistance, then don't do it specifically. Do it generally. But I think the big thing here is keep focusing on that it's going to happen. Right? So, part of me thinks that the fact that they're famous is a block for you because you're thinking that they're unable to be reached, unattainable, when really it doesn't matter if they're famous or not. They're just regular people. I'm just a regular person. Funny thing is I was having lunch in, with Andrew one day, and somebody off of Reddit saw me and Andrew, and they posted on Reddit an Amanda sighting, right? And I'm like going, wow, not that huge of a deal, right? So, so everyone's just regular people. And I think, just taking that step back and looking at it like that way, and not that they're this famous person on this huge pedestal. Do you know what I mean? Also, is it okay to never script about your SP? I never script. So yeah, it's okay. So for example, if I want to have a romantic date or proposal, but I want it to be a surprise. Okay. Yeah, you can do that as well. I mean, you can intend that they surprise you and that, they're spontaneous and, they do things, or you can put as much detail into it as you want possible. I mean, when I said to script as much detail as possible, the detail that I'm talking about is taking your negative thoughts and changing them into positive thoughts. Those are the details that you want to make sure that you, okay? Because your thoughts create. So maybe not creating the specific what they're wearing to the date, or what they're going to say or where their date's going to be, but scripting that the date is possible, that, you run into famous people all the time and you're going to run into this person, etc., etc. Okay. So, yeah. But yes, you're welcome for everything that I do. Thank you. You're welcome. I do it to help you guys. And thank you. I'm having a wonderful day. And Portugal, awesome. Love it. It must be hot there. So, yeah, I would go with more focusing on, that it is possible, rather than something unattainable, and taking it off of the pedestal. Okay. Yeah. Let's take a look here. Yeah, and again, if you guys got questions, I'm happy to answer them. All the questions that I answer are in the Patreon group. I did put the Patreon link at the beginning of here, so that's where we answer all of the questions from. Okay, so that way, everybody that does ask questions, do get their questions answered, and I'm able to do it in, a bit of an organized fashion. So awesome. So we've got Christina's question. So Christina says, hi, Amanda. Christina here. I've been binge watching your channel and I love it. Oh, thank you. I love your approach to it. It's authentic and unique. Thank you. You know what? It came from me knowing and learning law of attraction and looking around going, how come nobody else's videos make sense? Because when I realized and I was doing it, it wasn't that difficult. And so that's where my mission became, to make it, understandable and in plain English. And that was my whole mission and intention. And I've succeeded in doing that. So thank you for noticing that. You can tell you really know your stuff, and that's what makes me trust you even more. Oh, thank you. I know, even when I create things that I don't want, I still know how I created them. And it was out of sheer not being on my mental diet. That's how that goes. So I have used LOA before. By the way, you're always using it. You can never not use it. Before, and I used it to get into nursing school and have my current boyfriend. Okay, so you consciously used it, which is awesome. But your teaching have made my current relationship a beautiful thing. Oh, that's wonderful. I had a limiting belief that he used to not want to hang out a lot, but now he is canceling weekend plans, skipping on parties to see me, and coming to my house after long days of work to sleep over. Oh, that's amazing. He's making you a priority. I want to say thank you, because I really do truly feel, and now I know I'm God of my reality. Oh, you're so welcome. That is so wonderful to hear. I love that. It is my world, little bubble, and I get to assign how people treat me and what gets to happen just by having faith. Absolutely. And, the biggest thing, is to understand everyone is you pushed out, which there is a question coming up near the end about everyone is you pushed out. But the biggest thing about it is, is actually practicing it, and practicing it to get it to know how it works. And then practicing it to, to restore your faith in everyone as you pushed out, and bring you back to, feeling like you are the creator of your reality. So incredibly important. So Christina's got her question here. She says, I'm having a human moment. How do I not get jealous? I don't want my to create. My boyfriend went to the bar with his buddies. I thought he would talk to other girls, but like I talked myself out of that and of that thought, and kind of started feeling anxious again when he started following a new girl on social media. Okay. So, what it comes down to, right, is, is countering the jealousy thoughts, right? So, some of that's going to be a little bit of self-love, like I'm good enough to be in a relationship. So-and-so wants to be with me and only me. So you've got to counter those thoughts. You've got to get on the mental diet, because your thoughts create your emotions. Okay. So if I start thinking, that Gerry's off running around talking to other girls, I'm going to get jealous and I'm going to get very upset very quickly. Okay. But if I start to think to myself, no, you know what? Gerry wants to be with me and only me. He's just going out and having a good time with his teddy bear buddies. But he just wants to be with me. No big deal. It's like a guy's night out. I trust him. He tells me and so if I create those thoughts, then I feel good, right? You can even take it a step further and, basically intend that he's not the type that goes out to the bar with his friends, or that he invites you when he goes. Okay. So there's so many other ways to take this, but the main thing is how do you not get jealous is you have to get on your mental diet. You have to start controlling those thoughts. Okay. People say that your feelings create. Sure, your feelings do create, but What creates your feelings? That's your thoughts, okay? So we've got to get on top of our thoughts to control our feelings. Now, if you're having thoughts of jealousy, then unfortunately, yes, that is leading down the path of creating a third party, because that's what jealousy is. That's got to manifest somehow, and that's would be a physical manifestation of it. Now, I am not saying that that's going to happen for your particular situation. If you caught your thoughts, got on your mental diet, good, right? Now, it's not that you have one negative thought or, a few minutes, whatever, of negative thought that you're automatically going to create it. It sometimes, takes a little bit of changing the balance. If you've had a really good mental diet on that road to jealousy, the more, weight, the more chances you are of creating that. Okay. It goes both ways. If you want to be able to use your thoughts to create a loving relationship, then you can create your thoughts to create, a third party. So our thoughts create, that's the law. That law cannot be changed. Okay. So what you focus on that's what you get. Okay. So you got to start focusing on what you want. You've got to start changing those thoughts. And you've changed those thoughts because you're no longer going to feel jealous. You're going to feel good. Once you feel good and neutral, then you're doing a mental diet correctly. That's when you're catching your thoughts. If you have anxiety, if you have jealousy, then I'm sorry, you're not doing the mental diet correctly. You're not catching enough of your thoughts. It takes more than one thought to get jealous. It takes more than one thought to feel anxiety. Okay, so you've got to catch yourself, and you've got to give enough positive thoughts to start shifting that feeling back to feeling good, neutral at the very minimum. Okay, it takes work. You know what, though? Anything that you work for is worth it, though. Trust me, right? It really, really is, because your thoughts create. So we've got to stay on top of those thoughts. Okay. Awesome. Yeah, let's take a look here. So 16 minutes and 42 seconds. 16 minutes and 42 seconds. I'm going to answer this question. And this question is late fees question. Hi, Amanda. I'm new to the Patreon group. Well, welcome. And this is my first question. Awesome. I want to thank you directly for answering my question here and everything that you've shared on YouTube so far. You're welcome. It's been very helpful in establishing my mental and emotional state, as you are adorable. Oh, thank you. Andrew, you hear that? I'm adorable. She just said it. That's my live studio audience ignoring me. I said it. Anyway. Oh, yeah, he does say I'm adorable. I seem to have forgotten. I have only been watching your videos for a few months or so, so getting my head around everyone as you pushed out. I have to admit, I still get confused as to how this works, as I feel people, especially my SP, have such a dominating personality, and it's hard to remember that he's not real. I'm a highly emotional person, and it's easy to lose track of my mental diet sometimes. So I have a two-part question, which will help me solidifying my belief in everyone as you pushed out and not emotionally to react. So right here, what I'm going to say is I'm going to add in a technique here for everybody right now. Okay, when you forget that somebody is everyone as you pushed out, like just create something. Say, I intend to see how everyone is me pushed out, and then intend something, whether it be the smallest little thing. Okay. And then what'll happen is like, for instance, the other day, me and Erica, you guys know Erica, coach here, we just recorded a success story video. It was an amazing story. So we just recorded it. But as we were meeting up on Skype, we were both typing at the same time, like, do you want to meet on Zoom? Okay, like that was a real big, oh my goodness, everyone is totally me pushed out. Like, oh my goodness, I get it. So remind yourself in those moments, because that's really going to help you to keep remembering, right? So it's just a matter of redirecting yourself and reminding yourself, okay? So could you refer me to the lecture book where Neville says or explains this concept? Yes. That is actually the book, The Prayer, The Art of Believing, okay? And it's chapter 5, Thought Transmission, okay? So that's what that is. Chapter 5, Thought Transmission, and it's Prayer, The Art of Believing. And he explains in this chapter how it actually works. So let's see here. Okay. Let's take a look. I just looked it up now. I'm not sure if I can actually go through all of this and okay, here it is actually. No. Okay, well, yeah. So Prayer, the Art of Believing. I've got the big book that we've got there. Okay. So yeah, I would definitely read that chapter. It's written in there, and yeah, it actually goes through and lets you know. So that is that. is that particular one there. Okay, what's the rest of the question? So, or whenever or wherever did you find this theory? We're the only ones in our reality that have free will. So the other place that this theory is actually been proven is science with quantum physics. Okay. So that's the other place that this theory has been proven. It's also talked about in the Bible. Yeah, I mean, it's also talking about neurolinguistic programming, perception. Perception is projections. What we perceive of another is what we're actually projecting on them. It's also used in counseling, psychology as well. What else? Yeah, for instance, emotionally reacting, right, is to remember, and they use this in counseling and psychology. They say nobody can make you feel anything. You choose to feel things. Okay. So again, you're in control of your emotions, right? So nobody can make you upset. Nobody can make you angry. You choose to be angry. You choose to be jealous, right? So remembering that you're in control of what you think and what you create in your reality, right? The power of positive thinking has been around forever, right? So the thing, right, with everyone is you pushed out is it is the law of attraction, okay? Because when you think about it, right, let's think about it this way. If I intend for someone to buy me a cup of coffee, that's still using everyone as you pushed out because somebody actually had to think, oh, I should buy Amanda a coffee. Okay. So it's no different than, changing what somebody says or what somebody thinks about you because you're putting the thought in their head that they should buy you a cup of coffee. So every single manifestation in your life, even if it's money, it has to involve everyone as you pushed out. It's part of the law. Okay. And this is all proved in science, in quantum physics. Okay. So, as there are another theory going around that everybody's subconscious is linked and that other people are real and you just need to shift into parallel realities to get what you want. Okay, well, I mean, other people are real as far as their projection, but your quantum bubble is your bubble and that's it. People don't have free will. Me and Denise are putting out a video on this coming up is even if you say they've got free will, they still don't. They'll still act how you assume them to be. Nietzsche, a famous, philosopher, he actually said, well, you have no proof that anybody out there has consciousness. You don't. You don't know if anyone else has consciousness. You have no proof of that, right? Because you can intend they say they do, or you can intend that they say that they don't. Okay, so they've actually proven everyone as you pushed out in science, in quantum physics, and parallel reality is basically just your thought. If I say, look, you know what, everything always works out for me, I'm now in that reality. If I say nothing works out for me, I've now shifted into the parallel reality that nothing works for me. If I shift back into things work for me, that I'm sitting in that parallel reality. Okay, so the reality that you're sitting in is just the one that you're choosing to focus on. Okay. Religiously, I believe in Neville, and reading or hearing him say that would increase my belief in everyone as you pushed out drastically. Absolutely, so basically thinking that everyone's subconscious is linked because they are you. They are a piece of you. I mean, people have been saying since the beginning of time, we are all one. Of course, we're all one. They're all you. I'm you. I'm not different than you. I've got zero consciousness in your reality. Okay. 2, could you explain the we are all in our own quantum bubble theory more? Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. Everything in your reality is a projection of your subconscious mind. It goes out that way, okay? It doesn't come in this way. And when you're observing particles like the quantum experiment, the double slit experiment, okay? So I really honestly recommend watching What the Bleep Down the Rabbit Hole or What the Bleep Do We Know. It's a really good movie that it brings quantum physics down to like a really understandable concepts is when you are observing something, it acts differently than when you're not observing it. Okay. And then there's this Planck scale that will actually bubble up and rearrange atoms into where you think they should be. Okay. And the same thing they talk about all the basketballs on the basketball courts, how when you're not looking at something, everything is in multiple different areas. But as soon as you focus on something, it collapses into that one area. So it all has to do with the observer. And who is the observer? You. Nobody else can be the observer but you. Okay. So I would definitely watch that movie and then read Neville, the Prayer, the Art of Believing, chapter 5. At least it wasn't that PDF. I want to say it might be chapter 4 too. Anyway, it's Prayer, the Art of Believing. Read that whole entire book, 100%. Okay. So yeah, but again, you know what? I'm going to be honest. The biggest thing, right, is you can read all the lectures you want, okay? And you can read all the Neville and you can watch all the quantum physics, okay? I did. But until I put it into practice, that's when it really hit home. That's when I really understood it, okay? Because that's what gives you the belief. When you put it into practice and you see it in happening, and then you're like, whoa, okay? And there's nothing that can compare to that. It's easy. When I start worrying something's not going to happen, I think back on the command, everyone's too pushed out, and all you got to do is think about it. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And then I'm good. Like, that's the end of my conversation in my head. Zero anxiety, because there's nothing to have anxiety over. I create it all. I know that worrying about something and having anxiety about it isn't going to get me anywhere, because I know my thoughts create, and I've got so much evidence of it, and I know things will always work out for me because I've got so much proof and evidence of creating things with everyone as you pushed out and seeing it work, that I'm like, oh, I just know it's going to. Okay. And so I intend that that's helped you 100%. Awesome, guys. Yes. Finally talking about science, right? Once in a while. When I was in grade 7, I won the science trophy. I do love science. So yeah, you guys are all amazing. And again, if you guys want to ask questions, then I put the link for the Patreon in here. And yes, so that is all of our questions today. Oh, shout out to Denise. She is an amazing coach. I got results from our coaching session within 3 hours of talking to her. I know, right? She's amazing. She really, really is amazing. Always is amazing. Yeah. So, aw. Love you guys too. You guys are all amazing. Thank you guys so much for being here. And I'm so glad always to hear that you guys get results, whether it's just from watching the channel or for showing up for the coaching. I mean, it makes me so happy to hear that. So you guys are all absolutely, absolutely amazing. Yes. So guys, we'll see you in the next YouTube live. Okay. Bye-bye.
That was quick.